so it's been a minute since I turned on the camera. Got a little ahead of myself. But I got all the wood cut out. This is my little opening for my spare tire. Remember I said it's upside down, so it's going to be on the passenger side. So I got my square tubing that runs right here along the frame rails. And I was thinking about just, welding it to the C-channel here and to the angle iron, and then flipping it over and, mounting it to the frame rails of the truck. The only problem with that is the bed's going to be sitting too high for my taste. Most of the aftermarket beds, or the beds that you buy, they sit a little high. The platform of it, I should say. And that's one of the main reasons I'm building my own bed, is because I didn't want it to sit so high. I'm going to be loading mowers on here and everything, so I need it to be as low as possible. Not to mention I got a four-wheel drive truck, so it's just way up in the air already. So it'd be kind of defeating the purpose if I went this route, because you get like 6 inches off the frame rails. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to notch out the angle line to where that will set down, and then tuck it into the C-channel here, and then weld everything up. And I may come back and put some more reinforcements in between after I'm done, but for the most part this is the main frame. And my galvanized angle iron idea, it didn't really work too good, because what I'm thinking about doing is removing it, because it's all up in my way for this 2-inch square tubing to tuck in there. So that's kind of a waste of time, but just never did this before. We're learning. But this is just a little update. Alright guys, so I'm notching this angle iron out. I have to basically cut out this section here for my square tubing to drop in. So what I'm doing is I'm using the chop saw, and I'm just going down until it meets right here. And I'm going to have to take the angle grinder and cut it this way. So I have my little cutout. Now I just got to take an angle grinder, cut right here, take those pieces out. Y'all, so I got my angle iron notched out to where my fuse can drop down. Went ahead and removed the channel iron that was in here. Not channel iron, I'm sorry, angle iron. And as you can see, because the tubing sticks up a little bit because of this part, it's not allowing it to go into the channel. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna grind this down. What I did was use the chop saw and just kind of put a little slice in, about an 1/8 inch thick, almost all the way through. Some real thick stuff. So what I'm gonna do is just grind this part down. Big old grinder. See how that works. Alright y'all, so I got the square tubing in. Had to do a little bit of grinding, probably about 10 minutes on each side, but no big deal. Went down about a 1/16 of an inch, about 2 inches, to where it can go all the way in there. That way I can weld it. I'll have a good channel to fill all this in and grind it smooth. But before I do that, I gotta pull them all out, these 4 pieces, and stack all my wood up, and then put it all back together, make sure everything's square, and go ahead and zip, 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 tack it all together, and get about 47 people up in here to grab it and carry it out to the truck and test fit it. Alright, so I took all the wood out, stacked it up over there, and then I put my pieces back in, right side up. Now this is the top, so the wood will slide in from the top after everything is welded. Everything's squared up right now, measured it corner to corner, everything's good. The only thing I have to do after everything's tack welded together, before I put the wood back in, I need to figure out what I'm gonna do for the support right there for the wood, because it's just going to be sandwiched in right there. It's not going to be screwed there. The only places the wood's going to be screwed is 2 screws in each one on these 2 angle irons right here. So I also wanted to mention, while I got the wood stacked up over here, I figured out how much each board weighed, added up all together. The treated wood, all that treated wood over there weighs about 400 pounds, and I compared it to how much it would weigh if I went with a steel floor, the 1/8 inch diamond plate, and it came up to about the same amount of weight from what I figured up as far as the per square foot of the bed. And so the weight is the same if you're trying to make a decision if you want to go with wood or metal. The metal's probably stronger. You know, it probably makes it a lot more rigid, but that depends on how good you make your frame. If you kind of go overkill like I did with 3/16, the wood's going to be just fine. All your frame, all your load capacity is going to fall on this. So I'm not really concerned about that, but I was concerned about the price. The price of steel is outrageous, especially the sheets of steel, the 4x8 sheets, and it's probably a third of the price going with the wood. Plus the wood is a lot more modular. I could replace certain things if I want to add like a compartment, a hidden compartment or something. I can pull the boards out and finagle it, and it'd be a lot easier to work with than metal. Plus metal, you can scratch it, it'll rust, and you'd have to repaint it every year, you know, touch it up. Probably not if you went with like a good bed liner material, but it just seems like the maintenance would be a lot harder. And that wood I know will last at least a decade before I'd have to replace it. I've seen many trailers with the wood lasting a long time. I'm probably gonna stain it too. I forgot what kind of, I forgot what it was called. If it was a red mahogany or a walnut, or I don't remember, but it was on sale at Tractor Supply, 20 bucks a gallon. So I'm gonna do that. I'll probably stain it before I install the wood, and then touch it up with a second coat once it's installed. Let's see. I have these screws I'm gonna use to screw it down with. Oh, 2 3/4 self-drilling screws, wood to metal, and they look like that. And it's got a Phillips. That way, when you can flush it, it won't be poking up or anything. I got 200 of those. Hopefully that'll be enough for both the beds. So, in hindsight, I probably could have went with 1/8 inch wall thickness on everything, and probably would have been just fine. Probably saved a couple of £100 too, but and cheaper. But I wanted to make sure it was good, and it's definitely gonna be solid. All right, y'all, a little bit of change of plans. I love when a plan comes together, but sometimes it just doesn't. So this angle iron with the slotted holes in it, I thought was a good idea. I was gonna bolt it up in there, and I had an idea going, but it's just not working out. I hate to waste, but eventually I'll use that for another project. Instead, I found some used metal that I had, some square tubing light duty, that I'm gonna cut to fit in between here and here, and there and there. Also, all the way across here. This one's already the right size, and that's pretty much where it's gonna sit. And all that's doing is keeping the wood, it's gonna fit in the channel, but it's gonna keep it, from moving. Another thing I'm probably gonna have to do when it's time to install the boards, because as you can see, it's about a 1/16 too high. So in hindsight, I probably should have went with maybe a 5-inch C-channel to give a little bit more play all the way around. But we're gonna make it work. It's gonna work great. Okay, so I got all the pieces cut to fit. As you can see, as it gets towards the C-channel, it lifts up a little bit. That's because I need to notch it like these in order for the wood to be able to go into the C-channel the right way. Otherwise, I'd have to trim the wood all the way around the edges, and I don't want to do that. So all 4 corners are going to need to get trimmed so it's set down. But I got them all cut to fit. I have to grind all the paint or the primer that's on it so it'll weld properly. That's the only problem with the used metal. I'm probably going to leave this piece out and this piece out for now while we do the test fit, just to make it that much lighter, maneuvering it around. I've got this one close to 1 foot from the back, kind of the weight transfer, that's where a lot of the traffic's going to be getting onto the trailer, and that way it'll support the load best right there, I think. And I'll move these all the way to the front pretty much, because I'm gonna have my spare tire on the passenger side right here, and I'm gonna need room. I got about 36 inches in between it, so it should be plenty. I just wanted all of them to go across the same way. That's why I moved them all up. And in the center right here, I think like on most beds that you buy, the flatbeds, they have the little door that opens up so you can hook the gooseneck. I think later on I may cut the boards in this section or remove the boards and build like a storage box or something as big as I can, and then maybe make like a little trap door, put the wood back or something like that. Not quite sure yet, but I can do that in the future. So that's where we are right now. I'm gonna go ahead and notch those corners, and then hopefully we can square everything up and tack it in place, test fit it.
Alright, so we're going to see if it's square. We're going to measure corner to corner. And we're going to measure the width in the back and the front, side to side, all around, upside down. Here we go. So what I'm doing is telling Christina to put the line that's on the 2-inch mark. That way the end of the tape measure doesn't, you know, mess you up. It's more accurate. And we're at 142. At 142, perfectly square. And then we're going to measure across. It should be perfect. 79 7/8. 79 7/8. And we'll measure the length. 10 foot and 3/8. 10 foot 5/8. We're a little off right there for some reason. But I think we can kind of live with that because it is showing up square. And I don't think you'll see that. Plus, as I'm tacking everything together, it may move here and there, so we may have to adjust as needed anyway. Alright. So I got this little welder here from Harbor Freight, the little titanium 140. Just bought it. Did a few little small projects with it. It works pretty good. I think it was like $500 after tax or something like that with a coupon. But so this, according to what it says in the door, we got the voltage at 18.5, wire speed at 260, and this dial between 5 and 10. So I'm gonna try it out on this thick metal, see what it'll do. Now, I never went to welding school, and this is not my profession, so. drag it?
I
Can you
think
drag it that way?
like this way?
That way.
Okay.
Okay.
I just,
Hold these in place.
I just can't,
Don't let that drop on your foot.
I just can't quite.
Just don't let that drop on your foot.
Okay, so what am I doing? Standing here.
Standing there, don't let it drop on your foot.
I'm coming. Is that it?
Yep.
Hold it.
Alright. Alright, Christina. You see this over here? Hold on. See all of that? You need to be doing that, alright? So you can help me
Do that.
do that.
Alright y'all, so we got in the jack stands. We went ahead and started tacking everything together. Unfortunately, I ran out of gas for the welder. So, but I did manage to get everything tacked, and I just kind of grinded down the tops to where they had the gaps in the metal, just to kind of give an idea. And then, tacked everything up everywhere. The only place I didn't tack was here, 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 and here. And of course I didn't put my cross members in yet because I wanted to test fit it, and I don't need to make it any heavier than it is. And this is that corner that was real bad. Like I said, I ran out of gas, so I was gonna finish welding and grinding it out. So that's that, but that's where we're standing right now. Now we're just waiting on help to test fit it. And Monday, it's Saturday today, so I guess I'll have to wait till Monday to go get gas.